Hey everybody, this is a Design Hazards video about creating original artwork for your home, and I'm Chris Stout. Do you have a large wall in your home that's maybe shouting out for artwork? A budget-friendly alternative to purchasing one big, really expensive piece of art is to create your own grid of photos. All it takes is a collection of interesting objects, a digital camera, and a little bit of time. Here's what you'll need for this project. A collection of small items with interesting details. Everybody's got something around their house that might make for fun photos. You could do your childhood collection of Hot Wheel cars, maybe some vintage cameras, antique, cell phones. You get to decide, and that's kind of the fun of it. You'll need a camera, preferably one with a macro mode. You'll also need a table or desk, some sort of flat surface. Grab a medium-sized cardboard box from the garage, and try to find a couple of white pillowcases. You'll need to have a computer with some sort of image editing program, something like Photoshop or iPhoto, Photoshop Elements, anything like that. You'll need a color inkjet printer with glossy photo paper. I know that stuff's kind of expensive, but it does make a really big difference in the end result. You're going to need a series of matching frames for your artwork. It's best if you do something that's oversized, and there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, the grid of photos looks really nice if you can keep the gaps between the frames kind of small. And because the photo itself isn't going to be all that large, adding this big border around it kind of emphasizes it and makes it more impressive. And of course, you're going to need your standard picture hanging stuff. Nails, a hammer, your trusty tape measure, pencil, and a bubble level. Once you've chosen your collection, we're going to take some steps to make sure that these photos look not like snapshots, but like legitimate art that you could see in a gallery. So we don't want them to have any sort of messy background. We're going to isolate them by putting a smooth white background behind each object. And you have options with this. You could, if you wanted, go out and spend a few $100s on a very special type of seamless backdrop designed for photographing small objects. And it'd be perfect, but that's a couple $100. Instead, we're going to improvise using our less expensive cardboard box and a couple of pillowcases. Place the first pillowcase flat on a table. Let it drape over the front edge a little bit. Then set your cardboard box about 18 inches from the edge. Add your second pillowcase over the box and drape it down so there's a soft corner. You don't want an obvious line in the background. With your camera, get as close to the object as you can. If your camera has a macro mode, turn this on now so you can focus at a shorter distance. You probably want to turn off your camera's flash. Natural light or an off-camera flash will give you better results. You'll have to play with this a little bit, but it's worth the time. Once you've taken photos of all of your objects, go back to your computer and load the images. When processing these photos, your goal is to keep the object's colors bright while getting the background as close to white as possible. In Photoshop, for example, you can try adjusting the levels and curves. After doing that, you can use a large diameter soft brush to paint out any shadows in the background. You may want to bump up saturation to make the colors a little bit more vibrant and apply a sharpening filter to make the edges crisp. Don't worry if you don't have all of these functions in your software. Try playing with the photos, get them to look as clean and crisp as possible. After you've finished adjusting your photos, print them out on your photo paper and insert them into the frames. So what's all of this going to run you? Well, the photos are free, right? I mean, it's just stuff around your house, and digital photos don't cost you anything. You're going to have to pay a little bit for the photo paper, and that can be, 50 cents a sheet, something like that. The frames that we used are kind of expensive, but it's important to note that they're really pretty large. We paid about $50 a piece for these. And then, of course, the cost of any hanging hardware, nails, and that sort of stuff. So for a total of about $300, we have something that could probably hold its own against a mural that might cost well north of $1,000. This is something that's completely unique to your home and is really going to generate a reaction from visitors. Thanks for taking the time to watch this project video on creating your own artwork. For more tips and low-cost decorating ideas for your home, check us out at www.designhazards.com.